Everyone, today I'll be discussing the Pilot Vanishing Point Decimo and the Pilot Custom 823. So these are two of the most popular pens Pilot has out there currently, and enthusiasts love both of them for different reasons, and I thought I would do a quick comparison video to see which one you might like more or which one might win in this battle. So here is the Pilot Custom 823. It is in an amber color. So in the US, it comes in a smoky black color as well as an amber color. And as you can see, there is a little bit of a translucent window here, which makes it a demonstrator pen, although I did ink it with a fairly dark black green ink from Sailor, so you can't quite see it, but it usually does show a window of like how much ink is left, and it has a very large capacity. And this has a twist cap, so it's about 1.7 turns to get the cap off. And the cap has some gold trim. It says Custom 823. That has a nice little clip here. It looks pretty elegant. It's very business-like. This is a great pen you can take in meetings if you're going for something fancy or like an interview. I would say it feels sturdy. It doesn't feel cheap, but it is resin. So resin is a kind of plastic, and it seems to be very sticky to dust. I'm not sure why, but resin always collects so much dust on it, so I have to constantly, clean that off. And they put a really sticky sticker on it when you first get it, telling you not to break or open up the whole pen and clean it and so forth. And I took that sticker off, but you can still see some sticker residue, and I think that's because it's the resin. So resin is kind of sticky to dust and so forth, but overall it looks very nice. It feels great in the hand. I usually don't post the Custom 823 because it's a little bit too large for me, and now I feel like when I post it, it's a little back heavy. The cap itself is about 10 grams. Without ink in this, it's about 19 grams. So together it's almost 29-30 grams, and that's kind of a lot for my hand. Without any ink. So together, I already inked this, but this already feels quite heavy for me. And this has a fairly large nib size, a really big feed, so you're constantly getting great ink flow. And this is a vacuum system type of filling mechanism. So you would pull this up, put this into an ink bottle. So for example, you put it down here, draw this up, and then when you push it, and when you push it back down and it gets to about this point, the vacuum seal will break, and then all the ink will gush up to about here. So it's a really cool mechanism. I haven't seen anything quite like it. I know TWSBI has one, and that's something I'm looking into as well, but this is fairly cool for the Pilot pen. And then for the Vanishing Point Decimo, what makes this one very special is that it's capless. Capless means it doesn't have this cap. It might look like it because it has a clip, but actually it's a click and it comes out. So that's how it got its name, Vanishing Point. It's a much smaller nib, as you can see. It is both gold plated, both of these pens, but this one has, it has both gold nibs, but this one is rhodium plated. So it matches with the silver trimmings of this pen. And this one, it says is lacquer covered metal, which I think also just still means plastic, but it does feel nicer in my hand than the Custom 823, and perhaps it's because I have smaller hands, so I do prefer something lighter, and I did get the lighter version. So the Vanishing Point, they have a thicker and longer version, but the Decimo is the smaller version of that. So that's something to keep in mind. And how you would fill this one, you open it up, you would take this out, and then you would just twist it, dip it in here. You gotta dip it all the way past this point, and then pull it back up, and then it draws up the ink here. And that's a Con 40 converter, so it can maximum, take about 0.8. And this one does take cartridges, so if you don't like using, specialized inks or ink jars, you can just use a cartridge to take care of that. This one obviously does not take cartridges because it's a vacuum mechanism only. So those are, you know, why most people get drawn to these pens. This one probably because it's capless and it's very easy to get on the go. Immediately click it back, you're ready to write. And then this one is the vacuum mechanism, can hold so much ink. It's so easy to fill. The only thing here is this one's very hard to clean because apparently if you take it apart, it voids the warranty. So they warn you not to do that because sometimes it could be friction fit and then it might have cracks if you open it. However, many people have opened it, it's been fine. However, some have opened it and it's not fine. So it depends on, you know, your risk tolerance there, but overall, I have not taken it apart. To clean it, I kind of just push the vacuum mechanism up and down and swish it with water until I see most of the ink gone, but I couldn't get every single ink out of there, every single drop. I previously had paired it with this Pilot Namiki blue ink that comes with it, and I ended up not loving the blue color because it was too bright for me. I prefer much darker pens, usually blacks. Right now it's like a green black. So they're inked both currently with the Sailor Shikiori Miruai ink. So that'll be a nice comparison. And I'll show you a little bit more about what I mean. So right here, I wrote down some already, and I wrote it down with the custom actually. So this is a bit of thicker. So the custom 823 is 19 grams for the body, 14 karat gold nib, and it can hold about 2.5 milliliters of ink. And this is crazy because I don't know many pens that can hold that much ink. So this is great if you're, you know, taking it somewhere to go and you don't want to refill inks and so forth. The vanishing point, the body is just 20.6. It doesn't have a cap, obviously, so there's no overall weight. And then the nib is 18 karat gold. And the ink capacity is about 0.8 milliliters. So this one is actually in an extra fine. This is extra fine. And my custom is in a fine. And the custom 823 does not come in extra fine, or else I would have gotten it. So of course I can't quite compare smoothness because of course the fine would be smoother because it's thicker, but I do think overall the custom is just a really well built pen. This one has more feedback. There's been a lot of people saying how the extra fine has too much feedback and so forth, and you know, I'm kind of used to using 0.3 pens. I prefer like really thin gel pens, like you see here is like a 0.38, just really thin pens overall. Like I came from the Japanese gel pen world, so I'm used to like a little bit of feedback, a little bit of that scratchiness. I don't mind too much, but I can see why this pen might not work on all papers. It's too scratchy on some papers. If it's not a smooth paper, I don't think this lends for a great writing experience. However, if you use this Decimo on obviously Rhodia paper, which I'm using now, or like a Hobonichi Tomoe River paper, it's very, very smooth, very dreamy. I love using this pen in the Hobonichi because the grids are small and I can fit more into my journal entry here. However, this is the pen I would take with me, the custom, if I were to write on good paper, bad paper, any paper. It's just so much smoother. The sweet spot is less finicky. Like I can do it at different directions. It's still smooth. Oh, that's too vertical, but yeah, it just seems like a much easier writing experience. Obviously, I don't press too hard on it. You can hear that it does have feedback, so you know you're writing, but it's very buttery smooth. I would say this is the smoothest pen I've ever written with, and it kind of set the bar a little too high now, so I'm not sure where to go from here. This one is perfect for journaling. Perfect for Hobonichi journaling because it's so smooth for extra fine. This is 18 karat gold, 14 karat. Can I tell the difference between 18 and 14? No, I cannot. I'm not that much of a fountain pen enthusiast or user that I can tell the difference between the two nibs. But I can tell this is smoother in terms of just like maybe it's the larger nib, maybe it's the size or the fine nib. I think to do a true comparison, I would have to get a Decimo and fine. But I'm so happy with this fine that I don't think I need to. Overall, I think they're both fantastic pens. I don't think you can go wrong with either. I would say you have to think about where you're using your pens if you really need both. So this one I like on very nice paper because it's very thin, it has that feedback, and it gives me too much feedback if I'm just using it on regular paper. And by regular paper, I mean most of the American planner paper or North American planner paper. I've used this on Passion Planner, I've used it in the Hemlock and Oak, I've used it on several, and I just don't quite like how it feels on it. It's a little too scratchy. Of course, it doesn't bleed through because it's such a thin tip point anyway, but I would only use this on my more fancy or expensive Japanese or Rhodia papers. But this one I feel like I could use and write anywhere, so it really depends on what you're going after. This one I feel like I just want to use it just to like move my hand because it feels nice on it. So do I like using this one on the Hobonichi? Not really, because I think it's a little too thick for my handwriting in the fine nib. However, some people love the thicker line size. They love the wetness of the line. It is really cool to see how wet a line gets put down from this, and you can see the ink dry a lot more. So this is overall a very solid pen. I love this pen, and I also love this pen. So which pen do you think I would recommend? I think if you are newer to fountain pens, maybe I would start with the Vanishing Point, and then you can get this one for like a special occasion when you're ready, because this one is just so similar to the feel of what we're used to for like ballpoint pens, right? It has that click mechanism that we're so used to. So if you're newer to fountain pens and you don't really want to do this whole like, you know, twist 1.75 times and then recap it and do the twist again, you can use this. But this one kind of teaches you to slow down a bit in life, right? Why not add that twist to your day? Why not? Why not take time to clean the vacuum and just relax and watch it slowly clean out? So yeah, they're both good for different reasons. And this one is at a lower price point. This one's at a slightly higher, almost double price point. So if I were thinking about getting a pen for someone, or you're thinking of getting a pen for yourself, I would recommend starting with the Vanishing Point and then maybe getting this one at a later time, depending on what you're using this for. So this one has more limited paper usage, I think, for the experience. So, all right, well, thank you so much for watching. I hope this was helpful. Let me know what you think about these pens, if you have one of them or both of them, and which one you end up using more. I'm very curious to know that too. So thanks everyone for watching, and I'll see you all next time.